Welcome, familia. You're watching Bomba Live, the talk show you have waited for your entire life. I am an advocate and family man that will not be silenced. I'm your host, Ray Collazo. Thank you so much for joining us in the beautiful Philly Cam Studios here in Philadelphia. Bomba Live brings you conversation and insights that will educate, inspire, and entertain. And I'm honored to introduce my co-host, the legendary freestyle diva and the co-host of Bomba Live, Betty Dee of Sweet Sensation. How you doing, Betty?
Hey, listen now, everyone. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, everyone watching. This is so exciting. Bomba Live will bring you the conversations with the hottest newsmakers, celebrities, and influencers. Of course, we're bringing that with con sabor, right? We're gonna bring you need to subscribe to Bomba Live YouTube page to join our celebration of excellence and star power. Get ready to what?
Bomba! Before we get into the script, Betty, first of all, this is such a bucket list moment for me to have you and our other co-host, Christina, who will introduce in other episodes. Mm-hmm. But Betty, I'm so excited about is that you've been such a legendary entertainer, but this is going to give you a platform to share other messages. So I'm just really excited. You have so much to share with our Bomba Live community.
Oh, thank you, Ray. I am so excited to be a part of it. I'm so humbled, really, to be able to share my message. This is going to be a great platform for you as well, for all of us, I think. This is much needed, and like you said, this is the talk show that you have all been waiting for, so I'm looking forward to it.
And you've been waiting to see all these pictures that will be part of the show. I mean, Betty's going to do us a lot of name dropping in these episodes, a lot of great conversations. I'm so honored for a legend like Betty Dee to be part of this Bomba Live journey, and we thought for this initial episode of the rebooted Bomba Live, we wanted to give you all some insight about who we are, who are going to be the hosts of the show you've waited for your whole life. And so we want to, in this Who's Betty, Who's Ray episode, we want to get to learn a little bit more about our co-hosts. And so Betty, I wanted to start with you because you're a legendary performer and but you've taken your platform to another level besides music to really have a powerful message around love and unity in 2022. But this is not where the journey began. So Betty Dee, where did this journey begin for you?
Well, for me, I have always loved music. I come from a very musical family. My dad was an amazing guitar player. My mom always sang around the house. So, just like most urban young children, we grew up, I was raised in the Bronx, and I grew up in a household that had salsa music, that had merengue. But then I also listened to R&B music. So, my whole childhood was pretty much about this diverse musical language that I was learning. And as a teenager, I went to the High School of Music and Art, and then I went to Satellite Academy after that. I met a girl, her name was Margie. She became my friend, and she used to listen to me sing. And she said, hey, come meet this guy, my neighbor. He lives next door to me, and he works with this production company. He's into music, which was great. I'm like, okay, I'm like this young 16-year-old girl who loves to sing. And she goes and she introduces me to David Sanchez at the time, who was working with Platinum Vibe Productions and Sherry Shepard and Ted Courier. That was the Platinum Vibe Productions company. There I am, I'm this young teenager who really liked to sing. And I get called into this studio by, this manager and producer from this production company. They call me, I show up there with Margie, and I never forget, it's called Intergalactic Studios, go in there. And who's recording? The Boogie Boys, okay? Romeo J.D. of the Boogie Boys, they had this really big pop rap hit in New York City and all over the world. And I meet Romeo J.D., and we hit it off. Sweet Sensation was born, and Romeo J.D. wrote Hooked on You. And the rest is pretty much history.
For you, okay? I've been dying to ask a Puerto Rican chef que wears a Puerto Rican hat, got cuatros in the background, got a flag. Olvídate, you represent. Okay. Okay, here we go. Ready? Pastelillo de guayaba, ¿con queso o sin queso?
Oh, sin queso.
Thank you. Oh my God. Where the church?
Sin queso.
When they put queso in that, yo me pongo tan malo. Why you putting queso, man? I said guayaba. I don't need queso. You know what? Use that space and put more guayaba. Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Pasteles. ¿Con ketchup o sin ketchup?
Con ketchup.
This is my man, yo.
We love you. We know.
I'm booking you.
There you go, you know.
You know, let's be honest about it. There's a lot of one-hit wonders. There's even a few people that are lucky enough to have the initial commercial success that Sweet Sensation had, multiple top 40 hits, MTV, traveled all over the world. But it's another thing, Betty, to have staying power. And so a few years later, your fans are just as passionate, I would argue, if not more passionate about your voice, your music, and you and Sweet Sensation as ever. So what's the lesson you've learned about the staying power? Because you could gig 250 nights a year if you wanted. So what has been the lesson around thinking about years later and you're in as demand as ever?
It's so humbling, right? But you have to realize that I was 17 years old when I had gotten into Sweet Sensation, and we kind of grew up in front of our fans, and our fans grew up with us. It wasn't like they're much older. We were all the same age. You know, we were in our teens. You know, listening to "Hooked on You" at prom. You know, all these things. They were what we did together. So then now, you know, we have grown up with them. They're the same age. We do these shows, which is amazing. I go out there and I tell them, how many 30-year-olds are out here? How many 40-year-olds? How many 50-year-olds? That is our fan base, the same age as we are. And so I think that's what contributes to that staying power. Not only is it a part of nostalgia, but they grew up with us. They know what that music is to them as well as to us. So.
Right.
I got the blessing from Rubén Blades to do a song with him as a collab, which is amazing because the man is a freaking musical genius and a big influence. So I figured I'd sing a piece of his because I think it's pretty appropriate for the times that we're in. It was appropriate before. I think it's a little even more appropriate now. So I'll sing a little piece and it goes like this. It says, hace algún tiempo le preguntaba a un chiquillo por el significado de la palabra patria. Y como aquel viejo poema le di así: flor de barrio, hermanito, patria, son tantas cosas bellas como aquel viejo árbol. Y con el alma en la garganta le dije así: no memorices lesiones de dictaduras y encierros. La patria no la define esos que suprimen un pueblo. Ay, la patria es un sentimiento en el alma del viejo. Patria, son tantas cosas bellas.
Thing is that Freestyle was everything to me. My cousin Guido, who still lives in the Bronx, was the first one to introduce me and sneak me into the Copacabana. So it's kind of
kidding.
So
Look at the screen.
yeah, I mean,
Is that queso?
I was 13.
So
the
Rosa,
was the 80s.
tell us about the Copa in the 80s.
No, actually, all I remember
I love it.
was dancing and always getting in trouble for breaking curfew. It's just what it is.
I can't explain what I'm going through. Wish I could find the right words to say. Losing control and it's over you. Nobody else can make me feel this way. Could it just be that I'm curious and I wanna make you play my game? But something tells me that it's serious because I go insane when I hear your name. I'm hooked on you, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm hooked on you, yeah. What can I do? It's over you.
Yeah.
And so Betty has taken it to another level in that she's got this amazing music career. She's got this passionate fan base. I mean, life's good, right? But Betty is more dedicated than ever before to tell people a bigger message beyond catchy dance music, a message of unity and love. And that's why Betty has taken onto her social media platforms. And now here on Bomba Live, a very powerful message she wants to share with our community. So Betty, what's compelled you to take your voice to this other direction to share this powerful message that you share with us on social media and now on Bomba Live?
Well, one of the things that I have found throughout the years is, being in the music business sometimes can make you a little jaded, right? And there's been so much going on in the world and to us and through the world that we've experienced, of course, through the pandemic. We've seen things that we didn't think that we were going to see. But I've always been empowered to speak to big crowds, right? And sing, like you said, sing to them. But I've always wanted to help in a bigger way. I have always felt that in my heart and in my soul, I was made of love and compassion. And I think most people used to tell me, oh, that's just, like, why are you always so happy? Why are you so positive? I really, really do believe that's something that is ingrained in my DNA. But I want to be able to motivate someone to feel better, to be better, to do better. Not just by my music, but at least by being in that presence and being supportive there for you. I love talking with you. We've sat and talked about how positivity and how support in our Latino communities, right? Like, you've actually inspired me to want to do more and be more for the community. And for me, it's about all the experiences that I had growing up, all the experiences that I had in the music business, which could have made me very, very jaded. And I'm ready to share that story with other young musicians, young artists. And for me, that's very, very important to bring that message along for them. And let them know, listen, there are a lot of things that can happen to you in your life, but it doesn't define who you are. You can go ahead and persevere. You can overcome. There are so many things. You can do anything you want to do, okay? And I'm proof of that. I came from a neighborhood that was pretty crazy, but it was so well formed. I went through some disappointments and some trauma in my life that, despite all of that happening, we can still be good human beings. And that is my goal.
That's right. And so when we come back, Betty's going to turn the tables on me. And I think you're going to interview me about trying to figure out what I'm about. Thank you all so much for joining us. When we come back from this quick commercial break, Betty's going to turn the tables on me. You're going to learn more about who this political guy is with this freestyle diva and the kind of great message and powerful message you're only going to hear here on Bomba Live, the talk show you've been waiting for your entire life.
Welcome back to Bomba Live to you, everyone. Thank you so much. I have the honor of introducing one of my soul sisters in freestyle music. So I've been in the freestyle music industry for a little bit. Okay, so I know a few people. There are some friends of mine, and I am so honored to introduce my darling Corina, who this lady, if you have not gone to see her perform, and I'm sure all of us have, she's a dynamo on stage. She is spicy. She is saucy. She is one of my favorite Puerto Ricanas. Everybody welcome Corina Cat Ayala. Hello, my love. Hello.
Hey. Hi, guys. How are you?
I'm
What's
doing great.
up? Oh,
Hello,
my goodness.
Ivana. We have Brenda K Starr and Corina, one of my two most favorite ladies in the world.
Oh,
I have just one
that's
thing to
sweet.
ask.
Yes.
These ladies have made quite an impact, not only in Latino communities, but in the freestyle world. And I wanted to bring them both on this stage to give them their kudos and let them know the strength and the talent that you show make me a very proud Puerto Rican to be in the same
Oh,
company as you. How does it feel for you both to be such a strong influence on the Latino community and in the freestyle world? I'll start with
wow.
Brenda.
Brenda?
You go first. Okay. I think the most important influence is that it doesn't matter where you come from, that if you're very optimistic and if it's something that you are passionate about, you should always work your hardest to be able to achieve your goal. And it doesn't, really need to be something where you look at a career or this is something that you want to do forever and say, I could never be famous, because there is always opportunity. And there's such a big echo, sorry. But just to be positive and optimistic and know that if it's something you really want to do, you can make, your
I
goals
was
come
working in a
true
service industry
and achieve, what it is you want to do as an artist, as a writer, as a producer.
Yeah, because I was in the service industry.
And, I feel proud that I could show younger girls, older girls, women, you know, I was always speaking English all my life. And then when I was offered a record deal, I didn't know how to speak in Spanish. I was Latina. So for me, I learned how to speak Spanish because I said, this is an opportunity for me to try something different and pay homage to my people. And little kids now that don't really speak fluent Spanish, when they hear my song, they could sing it. So there's a way and an opportunity to always achieve your goals. So I'm proud to be somebody that kids can look up to.
Thank you, Brenda. And Miss Karina, my beautiful sister.
Yes. Hi. Well, yeah, that was beautiful, Brenda. That was amazing. I guess I just want to say, for me, I remember I have a memory as old as when I was a child saying that I wanted to be a performer and like the people on TV, and I wanted to sing and act. And my family members, in an attempt to protect me, would say, "Oh, that's nice, honey, but don't you want to be a teacher? Don't you want to be, maybe a lawyer? Because the people on TV don't look like us." And so for me, I think that my drive was always wanting to be for children that were 6, 7, and 8, like I was, to be sort of a representation of what they could strive for. Because for me, it was Cher, Iris Chacon. It was like this eclectic mix of performers. But my family, honestly, were so afraid for me because they thought I wanted something that I couldn't achieve because no one looks like us. And to be a part of something that may have changed that even a little bit is everything. I mean, I'm very proud of what we've done, and I am so proud to have been a part of a music and a people that broke through all kinds of barriers, you know. So it's an honor
Yeah.
all the way around, and we're Latinas, so it's all about being powerhouses and dreaming and believing the dream and going after it, and where it doesn't exist, creating it,
Right.
you know.
That was beautifully said, ladies. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for joining us. I
Thank
feel
you.
so proud to be in the same company as both of you. You guys are my heroes, and I love you so much. To Latina
I love
power,
you
that we
too.
keep inspiring them and keep helping them move forward. I love you guys. Thank you so much
Yes,
for joining us.
love you too.
Welcome back to Bomba Live, the talk show you have waited for your whole entire life. Now let's learn more about my Bomba Live co-host, Ray Collazo. Now, where did this journey of advocacy and influencer begin for you?
Betty, it started for me as an angry kid.
Really?
Because I grew up here in North Philly and a few blocks, not a few miles here from Philly Camp Studios. And I was angry because people called my neighborhood the Badlands. They still call it the Badlands. And I was angry because people put this negative stereotype on my community as dangerous and people that were bad fundamentally. But everyone around me was wonderful. My parents, my family, my community, and they weren't just nice people. They were smart, talented, and that was confusing to me. And so I was very lucky, and we'll talk in the other episodes of the show about why I was able to take a more positive path. But at the end of the day, fundamentally, I decided that I'm going to show people that my people are not bad. And so everything that I made that compromiso at like 13, and that's really been the driving force of my whole life.
Wow.
We want to be there for our families, but we got to take care of ourselves too.
Self-care is important, period. Self-care, and self-care does not mean you're selfish. So putting yourself first, taking care of your needs first is important for you as a human, as a person. It's kind of like that airplane stewardess thing, you know? They tell you when the mask drops, what do? You put on your mask first, and then you help somebody else, correct? So self-care, do those things that bring you joy. Do those things, start new hobbies. I always wanted to be a runner, and right there, you see, I did my first virtual run. I believed I couldn't do it, and I just decided during this time, I'm going to learn more. Just so happened, my husband decided to join me, and so we're doing a run in November, and communication is key.
Channeling anger into action for you, right, has led you to become, wait for this, the executive director of Unidos U.S. Political Action Fund. Unidos U.S. is the nation's largest Hispanic civil rights organization, right? What has a career in politics at the highest levels taught you about yourself and your community, Ray?
I would say two things. One is that North Philly prepared me really well. And when I started, the biggest lesson I got out of starting to go to regular meetings at the White House, Hollywood Hills, elected officials on every level, was that how underwhelming it was. It actually wasn't that intimidating or that exciting because this community taught me so well. So I think that was the biggest community lesson and family lesson, that your people, your environment prepares you much more than you understand. And even to your point, Betty, earlier around the trials and tribulations, those things actually are an advantage because you have a lot more ways to deal with things. It gives you a lot more versatility and strength. The other part on the organizing side is that organizing does matter. You know, and I just think about all the, you know, if you had told me 20 years ago, we'd have had a two-term black president, a Puerto Rican woman named Sonia from the Bronx in the Supreme Court, and a lot of the gains in Latino political power and influence that we have, I don't know if I would have believed you. So organizing matters, and speaking up matters.
Right.
You know, every episode we do, Betty, I know you get this. I get it. I get DMs, calls, voicemails, people tearing up about the impact that we have on people simply for having the courage to speak our truth. And so that's a very powerful message we want the Bomba Life community to know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Such a great answer, Ray. Oh my goodness. So
It's Bomba Live, Mama. What are you
it's
talking
Bomba
about?
Live, right?
Expect nothing less.
So on Easter Day of 2013, right, you began your podcast journey to share these stories that weren't being told. What has the digital influencer journey taught you? So I'm trying to say that 3 times. What has the digital influencer journey taught you?
What it taught me was you got to listen to what God's telling you. Because people don't understand. If I'm on a TV, if I'm on a screen, if I'm on a studio or in my house, in my basement, or on my phone, I do Bomba Live every day in my head. And God is not putting this vision, this dream in my head to tease me. There's a reason we're doing this today, Betty.
Absolutely.
Even with our colds and our allergies flaring up and everything else, because there's obviously a reason we're doing this, and there's a message we have to share on this show. And so that's been the biggest lesson, is that I started podcasting in 2013. Nobody podcasted. It was weird. People thought I was doing weird things on the internet. What's a podcast? You know, like, why are you doing that? You have a mortgage. Get a life. Just live like everybody else, miserable. And I had to go for this dream. And so every day that I go through this, the challenges and the ups and downs, it's a reaffirmation. We have to do this. We have no choice. So I think the biggest lesson I want our Bomba Live community to learn, if you get nothing out of this, 0, well, one thing is to listen to your heart, because God's not putting this in your head to tease you. There's a reason that you have this focus, and that's why the Bomba Live community is here to support you, and we're going to have some fun along the way as well.
George Zimmerman was Latino, right?
George Zimmerman, the cop that killed Philando Castile, Minnesota, was Latino. And we have, many cases on all those California cases that we're monitoring. Sean Monterroso and a lot of times the Latino cops are involved. So this is sort of a battle for our soul and identity. And quite honestly, the next generation of our politics nationally is going to be this battle between Latinos that have a grounding of self and understand the foundations of white supremacy, and some that are like, you know what? I'm going to try to grab onto some of that whiteness to try to get a step ahead. So it's really a fundamental conversation we're having in our community. There's great artists, and I'll just say kind of in the rap world, just for example, there's great artists that are great in the genre. Then there's special artists, the truly greats, that move the culture and move their fan base forward with them. So Bad Bunny is not just like the best in the game, but he's changing the game. Because what I think, to your point, Tanya, what this album is doing, his new music is doing, is maturing his audience. And he's pushing us to go along on his personal journey and his artistic journey. So y'all need to catch up. And I think about like Jay-Z. Jay-Z was wearing basketball jerseys. So everybody wore basketball jerseys. Then one day, Jay-Z, as my brother shares with me his perspectives, he's wearing, suits, and now he's a business guy, and he's about flossing, and then everybody changed their game, and it became like a different thing. So the truly greats, we have to move with them. Prince was that way. He was always challenging us.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Ray, for having me on Bomba Live, the talk show that you have waited your entire life for. Now, we have started this kind of getting to know each other, right? But there's so much more to come. Both Ray and myself have a love of humanity, a love of our Latino community. And what we want to do here is inspire, empower, elevate, and gravitate to the highest level that we possibly can. And so for us to do that, what we said, God doesn't make mistakes, right?
That's right.
There are no coincidences, is what I like to say. So if for nothing else, you're right, that you get this, and you maybe just get one message. You may have tuned into the YouTube channel because that's where you were led. And we hope that our message might get to you and might get to the person that needs it the most when they need it the most. So hopefully, we'll just continue inspiring ourselves.
And we're going to have a lot of fun here on Bomba Live, no doubt.
We're going to have so much
All
fun.
our freestyle streaks, our salseros, our hip-hop heads, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to bring a lot of star power and excellence to the table, and the party's not going to stop. Bomba!
Bomba!